We are back live on the Chopping Block podcast. The first time of the year. It's season 2, by God. And do we have some heat for you? We've waited 3 weeks to give it to you because, let's be honest, we had to get the beer flowing. We had to get the blood pumping. And we had to have a little animosity among ourselves in the group chat for 3 weeks. And it's come to a head, and it's about to get ugly. Dylan Brooks just commented on here live on YouTube. But right now, the cast is Beast of Kane, our executive producer. I don't know what he's drinking on tonight. Looks like something nice. Coach Price, love to have you as always. Dumpster Juice himself, drinking on a Coors Light. 2 Turn. Can't mention your name because of legal reasons. And Craig, man, Craig is glad to have you back and glad to have somebody, from the good side of Alabama at least, the Auburn Tigers. But Beast of Kane could have started tonight. It is glad. I'm glad to be back. Let's do it.
All right, look, man. This thing right here. Listen, first of all, I'm gonna give a toast to my homeboys. Y'all really besides some people that I contact that I've been knowing for 40 years, damn near 50 years. I'm telling my age. Y'all my motherfuckers. You hear me? Y'all motherfuckers. We get into it. We're gonna get into it tonight. I'm pretty sure. But y'all still my dogs forever. So listen, man. I didn't know really what we wanted to do, but what I envisioned, we got them power rankings for the NFL. We got them rankings for the CFB, and we got all these quarterbacks, and we got a little bit of things going on in Colorado. We got that old dog up top in Josh Allen, and then we got that number 1 can of tuna fish, and we're going to get into it and talk about what's happening. It's kind of like just a random fire. And I'm going to start with you, Coach. What stands out with you on this post right now? Holla at me.
On this screen right now, what pops out at me the most, believe it or not, is Justin Fields. And the reason why is because he's doing exactly what a backup is supposed to do in the league.
All right. Okay. What is he doing?
I mean, he's winning ball games right now. He's taking over for Russell Wilson while your starter is down. He's not costing you the ball game. He's keeping you in a ball game. He's not blowing the ball game, not putting him in a starting role. So, like I said, when Russell is ready to rock, I would go back to Russell in a heartbeat. But for right now, Justin Fields is doing exactly what you would want a backup in the NFL to come up and do. Now, a lot of people might still say that Justin Fields is a starter. That's fine and dandy. But right now, he's a backup, and he's doing exactly what a backup is supposed to do.
Coach.
Take care of the ball, take care of the team, don't do too much, don't get out of your zone and your element, and just don't blow it for us until our guy gets back.
Coach, I love you, man. I don't think that's true.
He's doing what he got to do.
Coach, I think Justin Fields is the damn starter. And this man now won 2 games.
2 games, but they're not impressive wins to where you say, I can't take this guy out knowing who you got in front of him. Now, if it wasn't Russell Wilson or it was somebody like Pickett, I would literally say, hey, bro, Justin got your spot. You might well go on and sit for a minute because we going to ride it out with him.
Coach, what's happening right here, what you and I are doing right here, is we are illustrating our love for Russell Wilson. I believe Russell Wilson is the better quarterback, but I'm going to tell you, momentum is everything. And when you got 2 quarterbacks, which they say, if you got 2 quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks do you really got? None. Right? So what I'm saying to you right now, this boy is playing until he lose a game or 2. Does anybody else agree?
But he may not lose a game or 2.
Then he gonna keep on playing.
How long is Russell actually out?
He out till Justin start losing.
Well, he was supposed to only be out week 1, and now it's week 2. And let's be honest, if Justin keeps winning, which in Mike Tomlin's system, he probably will.
Well,
their defense, if you look at the stats, somebody was they were asking me last week, they said, hey, would you put a bet on the Steelers to lose this week? I said, no. Look at Mike Tomlin's record against a rookie quarterback. I don't think he's like lost but just a couple of times ever. So it's like, that's the thing. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback right now. With Mike Tomlin's system, and they have enough weapons. They're not even using their weapons to the best of their ability yet. And I think there's some offensive line issues. I don't think it's necessarily Justin Fields. He's playing good enough for them to win. But that's what I'm saying. I agree with you, Barry. He might not get a chance if they're 4-0 when he's ready to go. Why would you change it?
Well, let's be real about it. The Steelers always have a great defense, and the defense is why they're 2-0. It's not, you can say I'm a hater all you want to. The Steelers did not score a freaking touchdown against the Falcons. They kicked 6 damn field goals and won a football game. I couldn't tell you the last time a team scored 18 points just off field goals. I can't. And like you said, regardless of the quarterback, it doesn't matter who they play. They're going to be in the game. But it's funny you say something about the weapons because the Steelers have a problem. Look, George Pickens is about as immature as they come. This man, I don't know if y'all watch TikTok like I watch TikTok, but football players have confirmed this. Last year, before they played, it was either the Packers or it was the Jets. 2 years ago, they played the Jets, or last year they played the Jets. They were freaking out because this was like 15 minutes before the game. Pickens was not on the field during warm-ups, walkthroughs, nothing. No one knew where George Pickens was. This man walks in 15 minutes before the game with a bag of Twizzlers talking about, I was stuck in traffic. Confirmed. If I find the video, I will send it to you. That is 100% confirmed. That man, the Steelers are living in his world right now.
Well, you can do that as long as you're winning.
He secured my point. Justin Fields scored how many touchdowns? How many points have they scored? But how many games have they won? How many have they lost? So he's doing exactly what a backup is supposed to do.
I do agree with that. I just don't agree that he's a backup. Now, okay, I'd be willing to put any amount of money right now on the fact that we do not see Russell Wilson until Justin Fields start losing games.
Well, that's because we know his character.
What do you mean?
Russell Wilson ain't a
It shouldn't be his
like
choice.
that.
It shouldn't be his choice. He ain't the coach. He ain't saying Tomlin, hey, Justin's out there. He's grooving. He's winning for us. I don't want to play. If he said that, I'll send his ass home.
He ain't got to. Guarantee you, if Mike Tomlin came to Russell Wilson and said, we're going to go ahead and put you in a starting role, I can honestly say I feel that Russell Wilson is the type player that says, Coach, we don't want to let the mojo that we got going right now go, just not to get on the field.
That's interesting.
Because that's what kind of guy he is.
That's
I don't think Mike Tomlin,
I believe that.
I don't think Mike Tomlin cares. Think about this. Think of all the quarterbacks he started that had the hot hand, no matter who was the starter. I mean, you had Mike Vick come in for a couple games. You had Dennis Dixon come in for a couple games. You had what was the guy that got hit in the head with a helmet that time? Mason Rudolph. He starts guys with the hot hand. Why would he not start Justin Fields at 4-0? If he changes it,
but it's not a hot hand if we're kicking field goals.
But Coach,
you're just not blowing the game as a backup.
But Coach, this is his second. I know he has been in the league a long time, but we all can say he really have not had the best. He had, unlike Bryce Young, which he want to talk about. Unlike Justin has had a bad situation in Chicago. Okay, he don't want to hear it. He don't want to talk about it. But when it really come down to it, it's just the second game in a new offense. He didn't know whether he's going to be the starter or not. I think that this is the first time that I really want to see Justin have. He's in a good system, good coach. If he fail in this system right here, I'm going to holler at my boy Two-Turn, and I'm gonna say you was right. He's ass because I think in this system right here, this is his best chance, and maybe even his last chance to play football in the NFL.
Well, here's a stat for you. I just looked at it while y'all were talking. We said the Steelers are 2-0, right? They have scored one offensive touchdown this year. They've scored one touchdown period this year, and they're 2-0.
How many interceptions does Justin have?
Probably none.
He's
Okay, he don't have.
He's
don't
been
have
they're not
what
playing bad
should do.
football.
Yeah,
They're not playing bad football.
No,
Y'all
but he's
forget the
doing
thing.
what a backup should do.
But the thing
I like Russell Wilson just as much as you do, Coach. But let's just be real. Russell Wilson ain't been Russell Wilson in 3 or 4 years.
That's
True, but
I'm
he
not
beat him
saying,
out.
we got to see. I'm from the show me state. He's got to show me something. I ain't seen nothing.
And I will say this: Russell Wilson. I mean, for the most part of his career, he's had some decent weapons. I mean, I know there were some stages in Seattle where he had no name guys. I don't even think he had a receiver. I don't think he ever had 2 receivers anywhere close to 1,000 yards in the season. I mean, he barely had one. But it's like when you go to Denver, name his number 1 receiver ever there.
It was Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, and both of them were injury prone.
That's right. I mean, you never got to see the real Russell Wilson in Denver, and I don't think those 2 guys would have made them even better.
Well, let me push back on Auburn just a little bit because this narrative is out there that Russell Wilson has not been playing well in 3 years. It's just not true. Let's listen to last year. He threw for 3,000 yards. That's pretty good. 6.9 yards a pass. And he had 26 touchdowns. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's top 9 in the NFL.
He was not the problem in Denver. I agree, but but I do agree with Craig that Russell hasn't looked because I think what Craig's talking about is like when we first started hyping Russell Wilson up to be a great quarterback, he was like 15-0 against the Mannings, the Bradys, the elite quarterbacks in the league, and he was doing crazy stuff.
Well, he was young.
I
agree.
the Legion of Boom.
Well, then
he had a great defense too.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, and then all of a sudden, they blow up with the Marshawn Lynch thing, not running the ball, and they all say screw Seattle.
Mhm.
Russell's the only one that stayed, and he started to go down stats wise, and not necessarily play, but he wasn't looking like as comfortable as he normally did. He was having to scramble around for 10 seconds and then just sling a Hail Mary to Tyler Lockett and it'd break for a long run.
Russell Wilson is the kind of player. It's just like Coach just said earlier, and Coach has said a couple things like this, and like I always say, I really love your perspective on things because it's like you think of things to me that a lot of people don't even think about. Like you said, what kind of person would Russell be if Mike come to him and say, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and put you in. I don't want to interrupt that." The problem with Russell Wilson is he's been too damn nice. If you had told Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, hell, maybe even Eli, that you're going to pass and run the risk of giving an interception and losing the damn Super Bowl, they would have told every coach in the NFL to kiss my ass. I'm running this ball when you got beast mode in the back, right? So to me, that's when you being too nice, and I think that's kind of been the rub that a lot of people had with him. But I know he's not what he was, right? Because I think Russell Wilson needs to be on the team to where he needs like the ultimate support. If he don't have that, and that's what I wanted to say about in Denver. Let's be honest, guys. Sean didn't want Wilson there. He did all of those numbers with a coach who just treated him like crap, like Tua lied and said, Brian Flores told him all this BS all the time. But we saw it in real time what Sean Payton did to Russell Wilson on the sideline. So that was just a total. If I can throw for 26 touchdowns and over 3,000 yards in that environment, hell, that's kind of like an MVP kind of thing.
Wait, Beeston, I hope we can move past the Justin Fields into somebody that you just mentioned here that I'm going to bring up. Maybe the MVP front runner right now. How about Sam Darnold of the Minnesota Vikings? And let me just tell you, he went off last week, and anybody that says he's not playing the best football we've ever seen him play, they're out of their mind. I want to know what you got to say, Coach, about Sam Darnold.
Well, Sam Darnold is doing exactly what a lot of players should be doing, and that's getting it figured out before you go in there blazing the way you are. You got to look at how his career started, where all he's been, and now what his situation is. Everybody know Cousins ain't nothing. Atlanta has got him, but Cousins was nothing. So now you got a chance to take over an organization to where you've really never been the guy that everybody depended on. Now you're in that situation, and I can honestly say that not only you're in that situation, but you're in a system and with a franchise and with a fan base that their favorite player is always the quarterback. No matter how it goes in Minnesota, you're the quarterback. Well, they had Randy Moss, yeah, but we talked about Dante Culpepper. Well, they got Chris Carter, yeah, but we talked about Dante Culpepper. Well, they got John Randall on defense, yeah, but we talked about Dante Culpepper. And then before that, who did we talk about? The quarterback, whoever it was in Minnesota, that's who you talked about.
Yeah, it's
So
funny you
right
say
now,
that.
so
Because
right now he's in the right spot.
Minnesota fans, and like I said, I was telling Dalton last year, because like I said, I play in that big softball tournament every year. I either go to Vieira, Florida, or I go to Panama. And there was Minnesota teams down there last year in Vieira. And I straight up asked them, I was like, so what do y'all think of Kirk Cousins? And I swear to God, a consensus, 1 through 14 players. Oh, we love Kirk Cousins. We love Kirk. He said, we think he's great. He's just never had a line. He said, our line's terrible. We have done nothing to help him throw the ball. And I was like, that's funny. It's because everybody over here hates him. I said, I like him. I said, everybody here thinks he sucks, and I agree with you.
I think he's like a Walmart version of Allen.
Well, he
Like
looked amazing last
to
night.
me. Now I will say that Monday night he did his thing.
That last drive. But
Go ahead.
I don't know if y'all haven't, you need to watch the Peyton Manning, Eli, and Matt Ryan was actually on the show and was really good Monday. I think it was Matt Ryan that said it. He said, when you're a new quarterback coming into a new system, it's almost like you are more comfortable in the 2-minute situations than anything else, because it's right there. It's stuff you know what to look for, you know where you're going with the ball. He said, this other stuff, you're patient, you're hesitant where to go with the ball. He said, so when you're in that 2 minutes, it's just clockwork for Cousins. He said, that's why he looks so good. He said, everything else, he's still kind of timid because it's a new system, first year here, the pressure of Penix, blah, blah, blah. But
I agree. A lot of these quarterbacks need rhythm. Like if some of these quarterbacks are rhythm quarterbacks. Just keep them, let them get going and keep going. That's why I believe that a lot of coaches lose the game trying to be creative and trying to do all these special plays, all that. Sometimes you just need to get out there and let them boys sling it, let them get in rhythm, keep going. And maybe that's how Cousin is, because on that last drive, I thought Falcons were dead in the water. I thought they was going Falcon. But, when I got to give Cousins some props now. I don't believe in Cousins. I think he's going to turn back into an old buzzard. But I know Tony real high on him, so I should be able to have a little fun with him throughout the year. But, Craig, when you look at this thing, what do you see?
Y'all keep forgetting Sam Darnold's got a dump truck size chip on his shoulder. I'm talking dump truck size. Been cut a couple times, been injured a lot, just been passed around to multiple teams. He's finally getting his shot to be featured, and he's taking advantage of it. So I got to give, until proven otherwise, I can't imagine the pressure of that. Just dump in like you're the man. Here you go. He's doing it so far.
Too. That's what he said in the locker room after the game. When they beat the 49ers, he said, you shouldn't have effing cut me. That's what he said.
Yeah. That shit matters, man.
But no, what blows my mind on this list is number 9.
Yeah.
What did we say last year about how bad the Saints were and how they need to clean house? They were terrible. Derek Carr's done, blah, blah, blah. And you want to talk about MVP frontrunner right now, it's Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's lighting it up.
They've had 15 offensive possessions, and they've scored 15 times. Never happened. Never.
Yeah.
And in that power ranking, I put them at 3, behind Tampa Bay at 2.
Yeah,
And
I had them third too. I had Atlanta winning it, Tampa Bay second, Saints third. And I don't know now.
There is a legit argument that you could say the Saints are the best team in the NFL right now.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
they are.
I'm out on
They
that.
have one of the better defenses, and their offense, like Tony said, they are lighting it up. And I hate the Saints. I mean, matter of fact, I would refer to them as the Aints. I can't
Aints.
stand them. I mean, what is that crawling on you? Is that a raccoon? Oh, that's a dog. Okay. I was about to say, man, what? Because no, Tony's got some wild animals around him now.
I didn't know Tony was a Volunteers
No.
fan. Look at that volunteer dog.
But so
Swinging dog.
I want to bring it up. So I think we've all got our point across these power rankings, and we're going to come back to it. But let's get through all these quarterbacks we see, or at least somebody that we can talk about right here. The next question is to all you guys. We obviously seen the injury from Tua in a highly anticipated game once again. And I think it's so weird how the world works. You got a guy that, I mean, practically died on the field and had to be revived. He comes back a season later, and it looks like a simple tackle, and Tua goes lights out, and fingers crossed again, unfortunately. And we all know what that means, what the body's doing when you do that. It's not healthy. My thing is, I think Tua Tagovailoa should retire. He should retire tomorrow. He should never step on the field again. I mean, they say he's only got 3 confirmed concussions. If you pull a video up, there's 6 videos of him wobbling on the field like he's James Brown. I mean, it's not a good sight. He needs to step away. Beast of Kane, I'm going to let you go first. What do you think?
Well, listen, man, it's nothing funny about concussions and stuff like that. So, but when you say wobble like James Brown, that just got to me. I'm a James Brown guy, and I love to see him wobble. But listen, man, I 100% agree. They call me the Tua hater, right? Especially a little bit down here on the Brady Bunch. Listen, man, we've been watching this show. We've been watching this same show, same channel for years. The man is not made to play football. He's just not strong enough. You talking about that hit? Yeah. I mean, Tua's not that fast. So, and he hit the man in the stomach. If you go back and look, his helmet hit the stomach. Now, when his neck turned like that, I guess it don't take too much, But I kind of knew when I saw that. I was like, this is about to be bad. Last year was an anomaly. He was able to stay upright for the whole year. And you know what? I'm happy for the kid because since he did that, that was the best year of his life. That's the best year of Tua's career last year. Not because he led the league in passing, but because he did enough to trick the Miami Dolphins into giving him a huge contract. And now he got him by the balls. If they say Tua, you got to go. They got to pay this man like some odd $140 million, some astronomical number, right? So, but if he retires on his own, it's just a little number. You think I'm retired?
It's only if he retires on his own. If he's medically forced to retire, they still got to pay him all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that might be exactly what's about to happen.
That's why they get him on injured reserve.
Yeah, but see, even before, let's don't make this all about medics, right? Even before this man went down, he was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. He threw 3 picks that game and maybe even had a fumble. Tua was horrible. It's what I've always said, guys. If you get Tua, if you get Tua's another rhythm quarterback. If Tua's in rhythm and he can boot fast, he'll boot fast you to death. But after them 3 or 4 seconds, hell gonna pay. He gonna throw a pick, get sacked, or go to the emergency room.
I think you're
That's
right.
how it's been.
Well, first off, let's take a timeout. Let's pretend like the first 2 interceptions were his fault because they weren't. The first one, it was literally a perfect throw. The receiver turned.
No, it wasn't.
I agree on the first one.
It was
The
not a
second one,
perfect
his
throw.
fault.
It was not a
Get him right in
perfect
the
throw.
stomach. Get him right in
It
the
was
stomach.
not a perfect throw. I went back and I watched that throw. I watched the throw. It was a throw that should have been caught, but it hit the man. The man was going one direction, and it hit him on the back of his shoulder.
No, it
Go
did
back
hit
to
him
my-
in the back shoulder, but he should have caught it. I mean,
Okay. And
Yeah.
the second
he
interception,
didn't even have his head up. That's the bad thing.
The second interception, the receiver didn't run the route. He
I
stopped.
doubt that. That's BS. You not change your mind.
No, that was a
First
bad
time-
throw.
Might
The
be
That was
first
a bad
time,
throw.
the first time we talked,
is
you
wrong.
said the first time we talked, you said that that first one wasn't his, and I let that one go because I could understand he should have caught it. But both of those other ones was just horrible throws.
No, I thought the
They
second
were.
one was his fault too until Mike McDaniel literally came out and said, no, the receiver didn't run the route. He gave up on it. So I was like, okay. Now the third one, that's garbage. You got to throw the ball into the ground before you just lob it up 15 yards, pick six. But the thing is,
Well, I mean, the Bills are his daddy. Let's
that's what
be
I was
honest.
about to say. It's for some reason, the Bills defensively have him figured out. You can go look at all the games. Even the game that the Dolphins won, he didn't play great.
Hell, they only won 2.
That's what I'm saying. The game that they won last year, I think it was, because whenever Josh Allen pooped down his leg and threw it straight into the ground on a 2-yard throw, that's how they ended up winning. But he didn't play. They've shut him down every time they played him. I don't know what. I think they just backed the safeties off a bunch and try to make you just throw underneath the whole time. And I think they got their linebackers are athletic enough to cover the flats right there.
They do.
But outside of that, I mean, there's not another team that just completely that shuts Tua down when they play. There's not. It's just it's been Buffalo every time.
Well, but he's never beat he only beat one team when he won the record last year.
How does he control what teams they play, Barry? I can't help they had a worse.
He can't
schedule.
control what
controls
teams he plays,
what
but
team he
he's
loses
supposed to
to.
win some of those. But you're supposed
he
to
never
win
got
some of those.
either.
You can't blame him for all that. Like I said, Miami lost their two bet. Bradley Chubb tears his Achilles or his ACL. I can't remember one of those. He's out for the year. That's their best pass rusher. Jalen Phillips tears his Achilles. He's out for the year. That's the second best pass rusher. Jalen Ramsey missed the first 5 weeks of the season.
But what does that have to do with them scoring 13 points in Kansas City, or how many ever it was?
But how much did their defense give up? 40. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can't.
But they
in the
think
NFL,
about it.
you're
They
not gonna
couldn't
win
have
if
scored
your
20, Tony. I mean, their offense could
I'm
not
like, you gotta let me
score
get
in
to that.
cold
Like I
weather.
said last
Period.
year. But it's not just that. It's ironic because it's usually Tua that was getting hurt, right? Last year, the only person who didn't get hurt was Tua. Tyreek missed 4 or 5 weeks. Jalen Waddle missed 4 or 5 weeks. They didn't have a single starting lineman in the playoffs. They actually they had one starting lineman from their original starting 5 that started that playoff game. So everybody was hurt last year, but Tua.
But here's the thing. Tony. But here's the thing, Tony. If I had a car and I said, Tony, I'm gonna sell you this car. It's a pretty car. But 4 out of 5 years, that thing done broke down on me pretty bad. But 1 year, that sucker ran good. You're not giving me top dollar for that car.
You know what I mean? Because what you're saying, Tua has not been bad every year in the NFL.
But he's been But every year besides last year, we didn't know if that car was going to be available or not. None of us knew that. We all thought that car would not be available.
Does he
Okay,
make top 5 money?
So how do
Does
we
he
do
make
this?
top
How
5
do we
money?
do this with Tua, but we don't hold the guy just underneath him to the same thing? When they came out the same time, the same year, and Tua has played more games than Joe Burrow. How do
But
we
guess
not hold
what?
him?
But guess what?
Started more games.
Does he make top 5 money? Because he is not a top 10 stats guy.
Who?
Tua. He
He's
makes
not
top
10
5
stats. He
money.
led the NFL in like 8 categories last year.
1 year out of the what?
But see,
4, 5?
that-
He's been here 4
And
years.
that brings it back to the point where I'm saying,
There's some
He's been
consistent
garbage since
guys.
Dan Marino.
There's 10 guys that are more consistent than him.
Dog,
That's what I'm saying. He's
I've
making
been
top
asking
5
everybody
money,
this
top
question
3
every time.
money.
Name a number
Well, see-
1 overall pick. Name 2 number 1 overall picks since we've been alive that have won
It's
playoff
not about
games
the
in the
pick.
first 2 to 3 years. They don't do
Tom
it.
Brady was a 7th round pick.
I'm not talking. So, yeah, he went to a better team. You don't number 1 picks. They're not expected to win playoff games their first 2 years. This is what's crazy. This is why it's all messed up. This is why people are not getting fair chances in the NFL. Your first year, you shouldn't play. I don't care what team it is. You should not play. Number 1 draft pick, you should not play. You should develop behind somebody. year 2, you possibly should start. Possibly. Maybe not. Maybe you need more time to develop. Jordan Love, that's an example.
No.
Year 3. Now, if you do start year 2, okay, you're supposed to just show some flashes of being decent. Your 3rd year in the league is when you're supposed to show an organization, hey, I can control this team. I'm going to take the steps to make this go. That's the year you're supposed to show them. Tua showed that year 3. And then last year 4, he exploded. And then this year,
Tony, you
he got hurt.
Tony, you cannot listen. I totally disagree with the point of a quarterback number 1 overall. I know Tua wasn't, but a quarterback that's top 2, 3, coming even 3. Listen, man, you making 30-something millions of dollars. You're making $30 million on the contract. And you guys tell me all the time that the SEC is the toughest thing in there. It's pretty much like a pro league. You cannot tell me that should not be a transfer to at least if you in the top echelon that you can come in and start managing a team and playing football. That is, I just can't never go for that.
You do have to have the right pieces.
Let me break it down.
He has.
Let's make it easier. Has what?
He has had the right pieces to be successful.
Not his first 3 years.
Well, honestly, I fought the Miami Dolphins.
His best receiver his first 2 years was Mike Gesicki, who's finally starting again now, barely. I mean, what are we talking about? Who was his running back his first 2 years? Can you name him?
Was
I can't.
Was it Gore?
No, it wasn't Gore. I can't even tell you who it was. I mean, you got to think with these guys. And look, I'm going to use Joe Burrow into it. We're talking about the SEC, right, Barry? What did Joe Burrow do his first year as a starter at LSU without Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson?
I mean, everybody needs weapons.
That's what I'm saying. You can't expect these guys who did great in SEC, for example, because we're saying that, who had the best of the best. They had the Justin Jeffersons. They had the Jamar Chases. They had the Jerry Judys, the Henry Ruggs, the Devontae Smiths. To go to places that got freaking Subway sandwich makers that we've never even heard of.
Then they don't need to be making $30 million a year.
That's an NFL problem. That's not my problem.
I know it ain't your problem, but what I'm saying in the NFL. Okay. Check this out. You got coaches like Kirby Smart and Saban and all these other guys, Brian Kelly, making tens of millions of dollars, and y'all tell me all the time, oh, don't go where the NIL money is. Go somewhere where you can get developed. Now we're saying, oh, yeah, go and get – they don't want to pay him in college, but put him into the NFL and get that rookie contract as a high draft pick quarterback making $30-something million a year. But, oh, you can't play him now. Let him sit for at least 2 years. Man, that's crazy.
They sit him 1 year. Every quarterback should sit 1 year, no matter what. That's unless they get drafted. Let's say we're trying to think of a quarterback – okay, Spencer Rattler. Hell, that might be why Derek Carr's going off. Spencer Rattler's right there on his tail. He knows his job's gone if he don't play good. Spencer Rattler got drafted 3rd or 4th round. He went to a better team, and he's showing out. That's a different thing. You got talent around you, and you're throwing the guys, and they're like, okay, this guy, he might be able to do something with this. Versus you got freaking a guy over here on the freaking Denver Broncos or the Giants whose best receiver is a rookie that's never done anything or not even a rookie. Some of them are 34 years old that were good 7-8 years ago. Now they can't do nothing. I mean, it's a quarterback. You can't do nothing without your receivers, period. Tua was decent.
That's true.
Before Tyreek Hill came. He was decent. His best receiver didn't come until Jalen Waddle came in as a rookie. And Jalen had 1,000 yards. Before that, we cannot name who Tua was throwing to his first 2 years, despite having a coach that didn't want him. Didn't have a running back.
The problem is it ain't the fact that Tua wasn't throwing the ball. It's the fact that his injuries come from not throwing the ball.
No, Tua's problem was the concussions to begin with. He took them classes or whatever, and he looked different. He wasn't falling and slinging his head back every time last year. He got through it. But the reason he got hurt the last game was 100% on him. You should never. I don't care who you are as a quarterback.
He had the first down slide.
Yes, you slide 100%. If he's going to come back and play football, he's got to know when to slide. Period.
Craig, do you think that Tua is going to retire or should retire?
I don't think he's going to retire. I think that's a conversation he's have with his family.
Well, according to his dad,
the term for that is called defensing response. When you freaking tense up like that.
Yep.
because it happens immediately after a concussion or being knocked out. I mean, multiple ones of those, you can get into something that's called decordicate posturing, which is even worse. That's like a massive brain injury. I mean, I think he's living on borrowed time. I think when you look at some of the guys that were doing this back before they started protecting people, that walk around with mush in their heads, that can't talk, and on ventilators and everything else, when they turn 55 or 60 years old, you got to have that conversation with yourself. I'd like to think. I think he's a smart dude. I don't think he's an idiot. You know, I don't think he's a dumbass. Tony? You know a lot more about Tua than I do, but I mean, he seems like a relatively intelligent guy.
Well, I blame Miami for it, because the bottom line is, you got a little canine called the Carfax. Y'all had the Carfax in front of you all the way from college, all the way up to where he is in the NFL, to know that car has been dinged up. So why you pay all that money for it? What they should have done with Tua is, if anything, they should have franchised him, used him on the trading block to jump up in the draft to get one of these other quarterbacks that are coming up. And like Tony said, let them sit for one season. But
there's so much
you don't go pay somebody that you know is one hit away from eating soup out of a straw.
I mean, even if
you
it's
just can't do it.
I don't care who the quarterback is. If you're behind somebody that's a veteran in the NFL, it's beneficial. I don't care if you're sitting behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoyer. Hell, I don't care if it's Trevor Siemian. If it's a quarterback that's been in the league, you will learn something from that guy watching and just the way they carry themselves about learning the game as a first-year quarterback. Because, look, Derrick Henry, I watched a podcast with him. He said, I played in the SEC. It's the closest thing to the NFL. He said, it is night and day different the minute you get in the NFL. Night and day.
So that's the reason why I want to say, the other day when we were all in the group chat, that's what I was talking about Bryce Young not touching the field again if Andy Dalton is winning. It's got nothing to do with Bryce Young's ability. It's got to do with the simple fact of what you're saying. Sit back and watch it.
And we said this last year. We said this last year. I agreed with you. He shouldn't have been playing last year.
He shouldn't be. So to sit and say that he got benched, you got benched on what? It's your performance. And the reason why you got benched on your performance is because you wanted to be the lead dancer in this play, but it's another guy who's been the lead dancer in this play for years. And you should have twirled your toes around him before you ended up being a starter.
Well, and this is
I don't agree with all this throw him out on the field just because you're a number one pick. That's the media hyping you up in college like you're going to be just the best thing on the planet. And that's too much money being offered to you to be the number one overall pick. So they're going to throw you into the fire. Well, it's a waste.
This makes the point even better for me for the Carolina Panthers standpoint. It's got nothing to do with Bryce Young. Let's put Justin Fields in it. Since we want to talk about Justin Fields sometime, let's put Justin Fields in this situation. I don't care how much I hate Justin Fields. I don't hate him. I don't think he's good. But I would be saying the same exact thing because for one, the Panthers should have never traded everything they did to get Bryce Young. You got rid of your best player that you had, the only Colts on the team. You got rid of, sent him to Chicago, along with 3 or 4 other picks to get the number one pick. You do that. You don't have a line. Who's the Panthers running back?
Why they do it though? Why they do it? Because they fell for the Alabama okie doke.
Why did he learn from the Saints with Ricky Williams?
They fell for the Alabama okie doke. They fell the same way they got Mac Jones and Tua. The Hurts turns out to be the best one out of all of them, which is ironic because they shipped him out to Oklahoma. But he's the best. He's the best of the 4. Can't nobody dispute it. He's the best of the 4.
Anyway. Let's just be real, too, because, this is good conjecture, and we talk about, that quarterback's hot garbage. Just be realistic. If you lacing them up on Sunday and you're a quarterback in the NFL, you're a football god. Your nuts are bigger. You can't fit them in a wheelbarrow. Period. I don't care what anybody says about that. All those guys can throw a football through your chest. So, don't get me wrong. Now, situationally, and there's a lot of things, a lot of flops in the NFL. I get it, but all those guys are football gods.
But I just don't understand. And tell me if you think the same way. This is me just thinking from a fan. This isn't even got to be like. It makes me really think the people inside that organization have mental disabilities, like they had IEPs in school. Because when I break it down like this, this is how I think about it. Okay, so for 1 week, we already addressed the trade picks, right? So the Panthers had a coach. You fire him, 9 games into the season last year, Bryce's rookie year? So you don't even give that guy a full year. You fire the offensive coordinator. You bring in a guy who's supposed to be this offensive guru that's supposed to bring in a guy to help Bryce, right? So you bring this guy in after the season. You make 0 moves to improve your offensive line. You don't go get any big names. You don't pay nobody. Your best receiver is a 34-year-old, and I don't care how it sounds, white guy. Look, guys, you have white guys on the field at receiver, you ain't going to win in Pee Wee.
Freaking Kittle.
That's a tight end.
That's a
tight end. That's different. You don't have
Bill Belichick's going to get somebody. He can recruit you out of McDonald's drive-thru, and you ask me to win a Super Bowl. Let's just be real.
You don't have white guys on your team at skill positions at any level and torch the defense. It just don't happen. When we played the Apaches in elementary school, you know why we didn't want to play them? Because they had the fast black boys getting to the edge. We got to middle school. We didn't want to play Rockmart. Why? Because they had the fast black boys getting to their edge. We get to high school. We didn't want to play Calhoun. They had the fast black boys getting to the edge. You get to the NFL, it don't change. It don't change. It just don't. Your 34-year-old Adam Thielen's your best weapon. You bring in Deontay Johnson, who's decent at best. Last year, the Carolina Panthers receiving corps led the NFL in the least yards of separation of any team in the NFL. The least. So you do nothing there. Then, like I said, you hired this guy to help Bryce, and 2 games in, you're saying basically, okay, this is 100% on you, not us. We're going to bitch you and bring in Andy Dalton. If that's what you wanted to do, you should have done that before the season. Because now, like you said, even if Bryce is in a good headspace, his confidence is shot. He's done with Carolina. You will never see Bryce Young play another season in Carolina. He will get out of there. He will get traded. Or
Tony, I'm afraid that your guy is a career backup.
No,
that's just all it is to it.
No.
Listen, when I see
other guys, like I said, you see guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, who we're talking about, who were both in Carolina since Cam, and absolutely sucked. And Barry, I remember you grilled Baker Mayfield every single game when he was in Carolina.
Yeah,
that he was. He had to develop. Bryce he's started 1 full year.
But the one difference I will say, and I said this last year when Dalton was picking them bucks, I had to go talk to the priest, and I had to tell the priest I apologize. Because one thing about Baker Mayfield that this guy does not have is Baker Mayfield got some dog in him.
How do we know
Baker Mayfield would die on that field?
What has Bryce done for you not to think that he is a dog or a leader? What has he done?
He looks
Bryce
he
looks
is like he don't care.
Bryce is like Frank Sinatra in a football gear. He just needed look. Let me tell you. I feel so bad for the kid because he's such a good person. Like, I guarantee you, he's like one of the best people that God ever made. I like the guy. But when I look at him as a football player and I see him out there, I don't see nothing that make me say, I want to go out there and put my life on the line for that guy. I understand everything can't be perfect on a football field and people need weapons, but he does not do it. You want to like a quick little fact? Give me Tua over that guy right there. Because I don't care what you say, I'll take Tua over Bryce Young. Because
he's what I call a for real
player. I'm telling you, I will.
He's a for real player. He's just so happy.
5 years from now, we'll be having a different conversation about Bryce.
Y'all are overlooking something too. Physics are physics, right?
Oh,
he's 5'8".
Yeah.
5'8".
I ain't saying nothing about small quarterbacks, but there are very few that have succeeded in the league for any kind of time whatsoever. Because look at those guys on defense; they're freaking monsters. You're getting hit by a Volkswagen every time you come out.
Bryce's skill set is similar to Drew Brees's. His skill set, his actual skill set, is similar to Drew Brees. So if he gets to a situation where he can just have a chance, I think he'll be fine. Now, obviously, like I said, they keep him in Carolina, they'll ruin his career. But he will get
his mind don't click as fast as Brees.
I just want to know how much
at the beginning either. As I said, you got to get 3 to 5 years to develop. Then
how many weapons? See, this is the thing. This is why, Coach, you were talking about why people pay some of these players what they pay them. Because when you were at Alabama, and we all been watching this for years, You got the best at every position.
I'm glad you said that. I've been waiting. For you to
You
say
got
that.
the best at every
I'm glad you said
position, and then they look good. They look real good.
Just wait.
But then when they have to go somewhere else to where it's a little cloudy skies and everything ain't sunshine, they look like they look. They look like they look. Tua, he probably gone. I'll be surprised to see that man back in the football equipment on the field, because I literally believe that if Tua gets back on the football field, we're going to witness a man die on the football field. And I don't want to see that. And I don't want to see that.
He's going to be the highest paid third stringer in the league.
All right, so let's go back.
They ain't going to put him on the field.
And Bryce Young and Mac Jones, the best. Tony, are you willing to say right here live on the chopping block, are you willing to say that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback that came out of Bama, out of them four we talk about? Are you willing to say that one of those guys are better than Jalen?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, first, I'll go right back to that. I want to address the first thing you said about Alabama quarterbacks having everything. Bryce had the worst receivers out of any of the big-name Bama quarterbacks. And second, let's go back. Georgia had arguably, let's say, top 4 best defense ever in college football. National championship game, Bryce threw for almost 400 yards. Can you name a receiver that was on that field? Can you name one? And where they're at or what they're doing now?
Tony.
I'm just asking because we're talking about a guy
I know. Obviously, I don't know all of those.
I'm just saying. Okay, I'm gonna do it for you. His best receiver on the field, because Jameson Williams got hurt that game, first quarter. Jameson Williams was done, tore his ACL. Mechie was already done because he tore an SEC championship. Ajayi Hall was his best receiver that game, a true freshman who is now being kicked off of Texas, kicked off of some other place, planned on enrolling somewhere. Now he's probably selling burgers somewhere. He's nowhere to be found. Slade Bolden, white guy, so we know that guy's nowhere to be found. Don't know. Tight end Jaleel Billingsley, who was kicked off of Alabama and then went to Texas, got kicked off. So he's nowhere to be found.
So you're talking about in the national championship game?
Huh?
You talking about national championship?
Yeah, these are guys who played in that national championship game.
Yeah, but how did they get to the national championship?
What do you mean? Bryce literally carried Alabama. Without Bryce, we lose 5 to 6 games that year.
If you don't stop, dude. If you don't stop.
What do you mean? We lost to 10. We got lucky. We barely lost to Tennessee because of Bryce.
No, I think Bryce looked good.
JoJo Earl, there's another receiver.
I think that he looked good because Alabama had great players on both sides of the ball. Don't sit here and try to act like Bama didn't have no players, dude.
They did.
Because if that was the case, if Bryce was somebody who can carry a team, why he ain't doing a damn thing in Carolina?
With Jameson Williams and John Mechie, yes, he had those weapons. But when they went down, like I said, Georgia's best defense ever. He threw for 400 yards with I can't say that word. With dummies on his team. Dummies. But anyways, back to what you said about the court. Obviously, I think Tua is a better quarterback than Jalen, period. I don't care about – we're taking all the factors out, and we're talking about on the field, when healthy, play. Tua's better. Simple. Now, I honestly think whenever Mac gets another chance, I think Mac's a better quarterback than Jalen. I don't think he's more explosive or more dynamic. I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts is. But Jalen is elite because he can do both. It's just like
I don't understand why Alabama. It's like something in Alabama fans' mind that just won't let them give Jalen Hurts credit.
I'm not saying I'm giving him.
They won't give that man no credit.
Special is because he can do both. Jalen's not going to sit in the pocket and kill you, dude. He's not going to.
All right, we're gonna flip the script. All right, Dalton, you asked me to put the Colorado on there, and I put him on there. And I want to hear what you got to say about it.
Yeah. I'm glad you put them on there because, we talked about them a lot the first 4 weeks of the Chop and Block podcast season 1. And now it's season 2 and we're 3 weeks in. And, I decided to go 2 weeks ago. I decided, hey, let's go out. Let's take the trolley to Madeira Beach and see this there's this little bar that we like to go. They got little arcade games and they got TVs and whatnot. So I said, let's watch the Nebraska-Colorado game. This is must-see TV. All right. Well, after the first quarter, it's nothing but arcade games there because it was an absolute shellacking. And we hear all this talk from Colorado week in, week out. They love to talk. And they talk more than any combined record 3-12. I mean, who knows? It's so bad. And then he wants to beat up on Colorado State, a team that they barely beat last year, a team that shouldn't even belong in the same ballpark as Colorado. And then we want to talk, junk to the guy on the field and do all this and that. Not to mention the week before, he goes scurrying out of the field before the game even ends. So let's just put it like this. We are seeing, like I said last week or a couple of days ago when I blew up the Kansas City Chiefs, they are who we thought they were. And that is exactly what's going to happen this year. They're going to lose 6 more games at least. Deion's out at the end of the year. All the Sanders, Travis Hunter, they're all out. Colorado goes back to the nobodies of nobodies. And then who knows what happens after that.
But you know what? You just nailed it. You just nailed it, because here's the thing. The state of Colorado or the Colorado University has earned in excess of $200 and probably like $40 million since one Deion Sanders and his family has came to Colorado.
It's all fine.
It was a success. Okay, none of us thought really, and none of us would have put any money on Colorado being a powerhouse, winning anything in college football. None of us thought that. It was a story. That's all it was. That's all it's going to ever be, right? So but here's what's going to happen. Deion Sanders standing beside Tony, coach, the greatest coach in the world, making the best commercials in the world, making a killing. He's making a killing everywhere you can. Shedeur making a killing everywhere he can. Some of the best NIL money. Kid just got it going on. And the best player in college football, Travis Hunter. Okay? All of them boys is going to the NFL, and they're going to make big-time money, and I guarantee you both of them going to go top 10, right? So it's Colorado. Colorado might suffer after they leave, and I do agree that it's been daddy ball at the highest level, and that's what I always said. I don't like that daddy ball. Even when I coached my own kids, it was tough because what you really have to do is coach your kids harder than you do all the other kids, just to make it look like you're not favoring your kids. Now, I do think that Deion, in a lot of ways, have hurt Shedeur, right? I think that if Shedeur had been able to go somewhere else to a nice SEC school, if it could have got that done, it would have probably been better for him, and probably even had more respect, because they wouldn't be looking at him riding the coattail of his daddy. But when it comes down to this situation in Colorado State, dude, Colorado State, from the coach to this quarterback, even the Colorado State coach's wife, dude, they've been talking crap.
That was last year.
No,
that was last year.
But listen, it don't matter. When you got beef, you got beef. You can't listen. You might go to the grocery store and buy a pound of ground beef, and it might expire in a few days, but that beef in the street don't expire.
Well, how come Travis
Hunter? That's what was going on.
Well, how come in the Nebraska game, Travis Hunter, he's running his mouth all the way out the tunnel. He's running his mouth to the players at the coin toss, telling them what they're about to do to Nebraska, blah, 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 blah. Obviously gets his skull beat in. You know what Travis Hunter does after the game? He goes up and shakes hands. He's a man. He shakes hands. Okay, I taught my stuff, but at the end of the day, the game's over now. They showed it on the field. You know what Shedeur did? I'm going to walk to the locker room because I can't handle that I played like crap.
Shedeur shake but Shedeur.
I'm going to blame my receiver and say it was a rookie mistake that I threw a pick six. That was a terrible throw from the guy. Had nothing to do with nothing but him. And then, I was actually injured. But then he's going to tell this quarterback the next week, when he comes to shake his hand, you was that dude talking on Instagram a year ago. Yet this man's on a podcast every week talking crap about everybody.
No, he doesn't.
His own team.
No, he doesn't. No,
he does.
You cannot.
He makes himself look like an ass, Barry. He does.
I want to see it. I want to see the footage. I want to see the footage where he talks
I'm doing
about
a training
those
tomorrow.
players.
I got all day to send you stuff.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
I feel like Colorado is a case study
The
of why
video that he
20-year-olds
got
should
where he
be
was talking
millionaires.
about
What do you say, Greg?
I said, I feel like Colorado is a case study of why 20-year-olds shouldn't be millionaires, most of them. Because I know if I was 20 years old and was a millionaire, I'd have bought all kind of ignorant shit. I would have had a catapult. We'd have had parties with midgets on motorcycles. It would have been out of control. I can't imagine what that's like, but I can just imagine, and I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent, but man, that's a lot of money for a 20-year-old.
I'm gonna let you know right now too. If Travis Hunter obviously should be a top 10 to 15 pick, he's phenomenal. If Shedeur Sanders is a top 10 pick, it is 100% because of Deion Sanders. Has nothing to do with his play. Because anytime they play a team with a pulse, he freaking sucks.
Yeah.
We can talk about any quarterback ever.
Yeah.
I don't care what
That
they have
dude's
around
good.
him.
He does, man.
That dude is good.
He does not.
Shedeur is good.
I'll be honest with you. I think there's times where he does look good, but he does not belong in the first 4 rounds.
And
He don't.
And you talk about going to the SEC. Nobody wanted him. That's why he followed his daddy. No
Every
SEC
quarterback
wanted
that
him.
was drafted this past year, in my opinion, are better than Shedeur Sanders. Every
Oh,
quarterback
hold on. J.J. McCarthy
Yep.
better.
and Bo Nix is better than
Better.
Shedeur.
Bo Nix way better.
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah.
y'all tripping.
JJ McCarthy a little bit better. Bo Nix a ton.
No way.
Perry,
No way.
listen.
Dude,
listen.
next year, I guarantee you, every one of you gonna eat those words. Dude,
Listen,
I done
Shedeur
saw
is
a
gonna
lot of
be
I done
my
saw a lot of
horse in
quarterbacks.
Cowboy Stadium, if anything.
I
Let me tell you
love
what
my quarterback. I love my quarterback. And if they bad, I'll tell you they bad. Ain't no way that Shedeur Sanders is not a good quarterback. That
He
boy
is
can
so
play. He
self-entitled.
can play quarterback.
He's such a self-entitled prick, Barry, that if he goes he cannot go to the NFL and blame his line like he does in college. He goes to the because guess
He
what?
didn't.
Hold on. If you're a
He
number, if you're a
does.
high
He
draft
does.
pick, if you're a high draft pick in NFL, you're going to a terrible team. Period. If you're a top 5 pick, you are going to a terrible team, which means
Giants or Panthers.
you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit a lot. So guess what? The first time he starts throwing his line on us, guess what? He's going to get hit a lot more.
Okay. First of
And
all,
listen,
that's
listen.
no guarantee. First of all,
He running
there's
around
no,
like Paul
there's
Cruz.
no guarantee that he goes to the Lions of to the Panthers of the Giants.
I'm just
right?
he was just saying an example of a
No. But I know, but I'm making a point about that because
Well, I'm making
Deion
a point.
already
If he
came
goes
out and
top
said
10, if he
that-
goes to the first round of the draft, whatever team drafts him is
that's not true.
borderline as dumb
That
as
is not
Carolina
true. That's not true.
Panthers. It is.
Y'all
If they're
gotta
as dumb as
stop.
the Minnesota
Listen,
Vikings for drafting J.J. McCarthy.
y'all gotta stop thinking like everybody is equal. Everybody's not equal. And guess who is not equal? The Mannings and the Sanders. They can dictate stuff that other people can't. We done saw it be done already. So Deion already said this last year. We not just going anywhere. And when he said that, he was dead serious, right? And listen, and that's just a fact. But guys, you gotta stop treating this like. First of all, Colorado football is better because Colorado is
I even got a bet.
Colorado is what they are, right? Do you remember before Colorado was? Tell me that Colorado doesn't make football more exciting.
Well, listen, before we move on to that top 10 ranking
A
that
lot
we
of
got
Max
there,
real quick,
I
dog.
want to ask one question about this because I'll be honest with you, and I'm coming from the heart right here. All right, I think there is one quarterback right now that I would say is better than Shedeur Sanders, and he's a backup.
Backup.
I think Arch Manning is better than Shedeur Sanders right now.
100%.
Right
no
now.
Way. No way.
Hey,
Right
also,
now.
a lot of Max real quick, dog. Watch this.
He can run better. He can throw better. He is better. He's
JP,
better.
You do realize we recording this show.
He is
I'm
better,
about to add
Barry. I
Dalton.
promise you. He's
This
better.
match is getting hot, Barry. You know why? Here's my prediction right here. And you're going to love it, and I can't wait to see your reaction. Jalen Milroe is going to be a better NFL player than Shedeur Sanders.
Maybe at
Listen,
running
bad
back,
he
but I mean, I agree.
I don't really think so, but I do think that Jalen Milroe is a
He
great
gonna play.
player. I do think
Well, see,
Jalen Milroe-
This is what I think will happen. Shedeur will get drafted. He's going to go in the locker room in the NFL. He's going to be cocky like he is right now, But the one thing about it is your daddy ain't allowed in this locker room,
Mhm.
and they're gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah, he's about to run into some grown ass man
But
problems.
we need to be honest when we discuss these things, though, because I'm telling you, man, boys, sometimes, man, even my dudes, they'll get a narrative and they'll run with it. Dude, if you go back and listen to what Shedeur Sanders said, he was not throwing his line up under the bus. Okay, he just was not.
He wasn't good at explaining it. Man.
And first, no, I do agree with that. But here's the thing, guys.
So what about
Y'all really got me confused because I look at y'all as kind of like the brain trust of college football. All right, I sit here, I'm always arguing for these players to make money in the NFL and for them to have freedom in the portal and everything and to make money. And y'all always tell me these are kids; they're not ready to make no money. But as soon as they say something that don't fit just perfectly to your narrative, you kill them. That's hypocritical.
That's because that tells you that they ain't mature enough for the money, or you would know not to even say that.
But what I'm saying, though, I'm not saying, but if one is true, then the other is true. You can't kill them when they say something that it seems like they throwing somebody butt in the bus. What did he do? What did he do the next following week? Nobody talking about that, but I watched it and I loved it. He brought his whole line out, and the whole line stood behind him and Travis. And him and Travis, they said, y'all try to flip our words, but look how great our line played together. We're a team, we're a family, we're together. That's leadership.
I'd hope they'd play good against Southwest Missouri State of the Deaf.
It wouldn't even matter who they play. You wouldn't give them credit. It don't matter who Colorado plays. You would not give them credit. You the one who was sitting here been arguing for Tua all night. And the whole last year when your guy, the great Tua, led the league in passing, didn't beat but one team that played over 500, and you never said a word about it.
I did.
I want to give y'all all the opportunity to answer this right here.
If we were at a cookout and you were on the grill cooking burgers, and Dalton was on the grill cooking burgers, and I bit into one of your burgers and I said, "Damn, man, Barry need to slow down on the lighter fluid on these damn burgers, man. They kill me." How many burgers did Dalton have over there, man, that y'all could taste lighter fluid in? I guarantee you, the next time you hand me a burger, I better not bite that son bitch, because I don't know where it's been. So that's why you can't talk about your offensive line like that.
True. Let me ask y'all all this. I want y'all to answer this real quick because we need to move on to these top 10 here. All right. If you put Shedeur Sanders, all right, and his play and his record since he's came to Colorado, just Colorado, you put that on any team other than Colorado where his father don't coach, he is benched, period.
That is not true.
He is benched. He would be benched on Vanderbilt. You
just said it, daddy ball.
He would be benched on Vanderbilt.
He would not start at Vanderbilt. He would not.
You were talking about leadership, and I hate to go straight to Bo Nix on you, but Bo Nix has had a rocky start as a rookie starting in the NFL. Did you see the interview with him last week when they were trying to bait him into making some kind of statement about a receiver? They said about that interception he threw in the end zone, and Bo Nix just said, "Yeah, I threw it to the guy in the wrong color jersey," and that's
what Shedeur should have said when he threw his pick. Not, "Oh, it was a rookie mistake by my receiver." No, it wasn't. The guy was standing there. You threw it straight into his chest. He didn't even have to move.
Okay, last year the man had
I don't care what his stats are.
3,200 yards, 7.5 average, and 27 touchdowns and 3 picks with a rating of 151.7.
Against who?
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
Hey, Barry, the good news is we're going to find out real soon because he gets drafted. We'll know. The competition is the same in the NFL.
Still not that successful, though. That's the thing is like you got to look. I mean, his record was what, 4 and 7? I mean, 6. I mean,
like that. No, I mean, I'm not saying.
I just don't see like that's like looking at a Jacksonville State quarterback and saying, well, he was 8-3, but he threw for 4,000 yards. Yeah, in the Sun Belt. It's like I mean, this guy's throwing, doing that, and he's 4 and 8. in a
Do you
record.
honestly believe? Do you honestly believe that if Shedeur was on a team like Georgia, Alabama, Ole
He don't
Miss,
play.
or anything? Do you honestly believe that dude wouldn't just light it up?
He's
and
not
kill
going to
it?
start over
I'll be
nobody
honest.
there.
I don't think he would play. I don't
Barry,
think
he would not start over Garrett Nussmeier, and I hate LSU. He would not start over Nussmeier. He would not.
He would.
No, he
He
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I think
He's
he
not.
would.
He's not even that athletic on the run, and he's not that great of a
Makes
passer.
terrible
I mean,
decisions
If
on
he
stuff.
is not, then guys, see, this is what is come. This is what's difficult.
he's
for
got to show us something.
But
3 and
this is
9,
what-
if you
this
look
is
at
what's
any other
difficult.
quarterback, it's not good enough.
This is what's difficult for me when I had these conversations with you guys, because if he performs well, he's playing against bad competition.
Because
If he and then you're gonna say if he does good in the NFL, if he gets drafted high in the NFL, it's because of his daddy. The dude can't win.
no, I don't care. Look, I
He
hope
can't
he
win.
gets
But
drafted.
that's not my fault.
Because I promise you, if he
I
gets
look at
drafted high-
it as if it wasn't for Travis Hunter playing 150 snaps, he wouldn't even have those stats.
Oh, he'd be worse. He would be way worse.
Okay, then we can say the same thing about every Alabama quarterback with all of them loaded things. We can say the same thing about almost any player. If you ain't got the weapons, we just sit here and had a whole segment on if you don't have weapons, you're no good.
Hey,
Okay.
I can think of one you can't say that about, Steve McNair.
Mhm.
Let's do-
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to go old school on you.
Yeah,
I watched that guy play. I was
God,
recruited by
somebody-
Stanford and went down when they played Alcorn State, and he passed for 5,400 yards and 50 touchdowns.
I'm
See?
rooting for God.
anomaly.
He got nobody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm rooting for Barry. I'm rooting for you. I hope Shedeur goes top 7, and because when he does, I'm going to do exactly what you've done to Bryce Young to him, because he's going to be 10 times worse.
No, he
I
won't.
promise
He
you,
won't.
I'm real.
He won't.
Yeah,
He won't. You guys got to see.
Matter of fact, he won't. I bet he won't even get a start. His first. I bet he won't get a start. They'll
Oh,
look at
he
him like
absolutely.
J.J. McCarthy.
He
He'll get
absolutely.
on camp.
I'm gonna go the
so
other
bad.
route. He
Those
absolutely
plays.
starts because you know why? Because he's a Sanders, right? Okay, he's going to start. Guys, listen. You guys got to understand that it's not just about football.
In the NFL, it is.
Okay, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about popularity too. And here's the thing, man. Shedeur Sanders, if y'all would just not be such big haters, because Dalton hate the Sanders and Tony hate the Sanders. Y'all can't just look at them and judge them like everybody else.
I like Dion. I just don't like him as a coach.
It's so much hating, y'all. It's blinding y'all.
Let me ask you
No.
one question. Just name one, Barry. This is his second year. Name one good team that he has played good against. Just one. A good team.
I think he plays good every game he plays.
All right, next subject.
No, I really do. I think he plays good in every game he plays. Yeah, I mean, listen, dude.
Yeah, and I got a 12-inch. Never mind.
Listen.
Well,
Do it,
he's
Sanders.
been fishing pole, but
Wait till you see him play next year. So
I
do
can't
it,
wait to
Sanders.
watch him. hold
Oh,
the
this is what I was going to say.
maybe in the XFL.
This is what I was going to No, he too big for that. But this is what I was gonna say, guys. This is the one thing you can't never underestimate. He
The
got
footer.
dog in him.
Who they got this week?
He got the dog in him.
Maybe a
Yeah,
Chihuahua.
dog
and the
in
reason, and the
down 28.
reason why, if Bryce Young
Oh my God.
wasn't Frank Sinatra in a football uniform, and he had just a little piece of dog in him, it wouldn't matter that everything around him wasn't perfect.
Shadeur's
There's
dog
no
ran away to the
way
locker
in-
room. That's why
there's
Shedeur
no-
went. Hey, that's why Shedeur followed his dog to the locker room against Nebraska when he was getting smacked because he got that dog in him.
Nah, y'all just crazy. You know what I mean?
If he's got dog in him, Barry, it's a Chihuahua.
Ain't
We're
nobody-
gonna see. Y'all ain't gonna give him credit. Go ahead, Dalton.
No, so yeah, no. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'll be the first one to tell you. And I last year when he had those couple good games, I mean, against which we thought were to open the year were good opponents. They're not. I mean, this guy, no matter how you want to look at it, anytime they face somebody worth anything, he does not play that well. And yeah, the team, they're not that good. But
The
here's
team
the
is
thing.
not good. That's right. The team is not good.
They are not that good. They are not. Let's face it. But I do not think you put Shedeur Sanders on an SEC team without his dad that he just lights it up. So here's what I'm saying.
Florida.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Here's the thing. There is no way that you could look at any quarterback in last year's draft class or any quarterback in this year's draft class and say Shedeur Sanders is 100% better than them and should start in the NFL day one. I don't think he should. I really do not think he's good enough to play in the NFL. I don't.
You don't think he's good enough to play the NFL day one, how to play the NFL ever?
I don't think he is good enough to start in the NFL.
Hey,
I do
Barry,
not.
he might be better than Talia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Think of all the quarterbacks that have failed in the NFL.
Dude,
I
I
still
look
think
at,
they're better than him.
okay, listen, we're going to see. I mean, even we can go back to Tua's draft. And I mean, dude, most of these guys turn out to be busts. Okay, to me. Okay, and I ain't looking for. I like Bo Nix, but I ain't looking for no Bo Nix to be good. And I like
he's not.
it.
I mean,
And I'm not looking for
JJ
JJ McCarthy to be good. Okay, I'm not looking for that. It's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that them 6 out of those 6. How many do you really actually think? I don't even know what Caleb Williams gonna do at this point. Maybe he's gonna bust through. I'm not even 100% sure about Jaden. We're gonna have to see. So I think Shedeur, if y'all wasn't hating, big time haters like y'all are, y'all would see how good that boy can play. He can play football.
I want to feed off what you said real quick, Barry, because I said beforehand, and this is what I'm sticking to. I felt like this year's quarterback class was one of the weakest I've ever seen, and somehow 6 to 8 of them were drafted in the first 15 picks, which was ignorant to me. And I'm sticking with my prediction that out of these quarterbacks, that Drake May will have the best career. And the only reason I'm sticking with that is because he's at the only organization who is doing him a service right now. They have him sitting behind a veteran in the league learning.
And we should be 2-0.
100%.
Should be. But hey, let's kick it off to college football. We only got a little bit of time left, and boy, it's going to be hot here. I want to ask y'all, I'm just going to go down the line here, starting with Bisa Kane. What I want to ask y'all with this top 10 is what sticks out the most? Is it, is it one specific team? Do you think this list will be the same at the end of the year? Tell me what your main thoughts are from this list as it is. Bisa Kane, you are up first.
I'll be honest with you. This right here, after seeing y'all playing Kentucky last week, I don't know. That was rough. When I look at this, I don't think Oregon is all that either. Tennessee is what seems to be something to me. Tennessee, I don't know who they play next, but the schedules, I wish we had those.
They play Oklahoma, and they're going to kill them.
Tennessee looks like they're going to be spoiling a whole lot of meals this year. I mean, I think, and I will be honest, Alabama, they kind of looking like a semblance.
Hold on, Barry.
They kind of looking like a semblance of Alabama.
Because last week after South Florida, you said that Georgia was going to whoop them, and then Georgia has a close game. Now you're backtracking a little bit.
Because you know why? I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm not just a stubborn fanboy like you who would just say stuff for the hell of it. I would have thought that by the other games that y'all played, that Georgia would come in and put the spanking on y'all. But last week, man, Georgia looked mighty weak to me. Georgia, I'm just saying, man, I don't know what y'all schedules coming up is, but I got a feeling that, okay, y'all got Alabama next. They got Alabama in 2 weeks. I think if y'all don't really true up a lot of that, Alabama going to beat the hell out of Georgia, and Tuscaloosa. I kind of feel like that, guys. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I think you got a point. I like that you picked out Tennessee because to me, they've looked real good. I mean, if you look at the NC State game, and I know, at the end of the year, people are going to say, oh, NC State wasn't nothing like this or nothing. But NC State was picked arguably by some people to be in the playoff at the end of the
I
year.
don't
So
know
it's
why,
like,
'cause they look terrible the week.
well, that's
before.
what I'm saying. Tennessee didn't even play their best game and beat them to a pulp. Like Tennessee looks to be a well-rounded football team. And you know what's funny? I'm not saying I believe this by any means at all, but there are some people that truly believe that Tennessee's quarterback is the best quarterback in the country. I've seen it all over the internet, and like I said, I don't believe it, but I do think he's very good.
But who do you believe he is?
It's kind of tough. You know what's funny? I'm the kind of guy that's always been on the hype train of Jackson Dart and the Missouri quarterback. I think they are unbelievable at what they're doing, and I have Missouri as a top 5 team right now. I think Missouri, their one tough game, they come back like I think they scored 24 points unanswered. They are a tough, resilient team. They've got one of the better receiving cores in the game. An unbelievable quarterback who, in my opinion, should be one of the highest drafted quarterbacks. This guy's been proven every year in college.
Mm.
I mean, so I think those 2 teams or 3 teams, Missouri, Tennessee, Ole Miss, really stick out. Georgia had a bad game, but I mean, it reminds me of that game against Missouri, 2 years ago. It reminds me of there was another game they had where they really looked bad for a long time. There is no doubt in my mind, and even Tony knows this. They're going to show up ready in Tuscaloosa, and they could walk away in Tuscaloosa with a victory. There's no doubt in my mind they could. It's going to be an absolute battle, but we got 2 weeks to go. I agree with you, Barry. Oregon, they do not belong on this list. I think out of top 10 teams, they have looked the worst out of everyone on this list.
And I don't know how that happened because somebody on our account are always trying to anoint a certain coach, and it looks like they ain't worth a damn.
Well, Tony, I want you to go what you're about to say because I truly think Oregon's the worst on this list.
I think Penn State shouldn't be top 20. I think Penn State is the most overrated team in college football every single year outside of Notre Dame. Their quarterback is terrible. He's listed as like a top 10 quarterback in the country. He's garbage. It took a last-second drive for them to beat Bowling Green. I don't understand that. James Franklin is the biggest choke artist in the Big Ten, in the country. He is terrible against.
This is the first time we heard this year. Y'all let all the balloons and all the confetti
you
go.
haven't.
Heard it.
No, you say it every year, Tony. You're right. But I mean, think about Oregon. Like you just said on the last-second drive, they had to do that 2 weeks in a row to survive against Boise State and who was the other one?
They should have lost to Boise State. The other team was terrible too, but I think the Oregon thing is they spent too much money and haven't invested the time developing the players is what I think it was because they're just expecting talent to win games is what I think the issue is in Oregon, which I think Ohio State's going to have that same issue when they run into some real opponents. But if I made a top 5 right now, and this is going to sound so biased, but it's judging by how they've played, my whole top 5 would be SEC teams right now. Texas looks like the best team in the country all around easily. I would have Ole Miss as my number 2 team in the country right now because unlike years past, like the comment Nick Saban said, these other coaches have said, Ole Miss has a big front on offense and defense now. That's always been their weakness. They had a smaller line, smaller D lines. They got big guys up front now. Ole Miss would be my number 2 team. And I don't know if I would have Alabama or Tennessee at 3. I don't know which one I'd have there. And then I'd have Georgia at 5th just because of the last game. Just because of the last game, you got to drop them because Kentucky got beat by 30 by South Carolina the week before.
Tennessee gonna whoop y'all ass.
Well, the thing is with Tennessee, and this is the thing, we don't know how good Tennessee is until they play a team that's got a decent offense. Because every time we
I think Missouri too.
We hot Tennessee up like this every year, and then they play Kirby, and they all of a sudden can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. And
a lot of people can't do anything.
I'm just saying in general, like they play a good
defense.
Kentucky. Nothing.
They didn't do anything, Barry. They didn't score a touchdown.
Y'all didn't either.
Well, Brock Vandagriff also threw for like 17 yards the week before against South Carolina. So Kentucky's offensive line's terrible. But
I mean, they are, but that's the thing. We act like Georgia played that bad. Their defense has yet to give up a touchdown.
they're going to give up some in 2 weeks. But Georgia just played bad in the trenches. That's all it was. You got dominated in the trenches. You can't do nothing. If you can't control the line of scrimmage, I don't care who you're playing. You're going to struggle, period. And I don't expect Georgia's offensive line to play like that ever again. I don't.
No.
They shouldn't. Tate Ratledge is going to be out for a little bit, so I don't know who their backups are, but they should be fine. But Tennessee, like James Pierce, this guy's a bona fide bust waiting to happen. This guy's been hyped up as an edge rusher every single year, and this dude is a ghost every time he plays a team like Alabama, Georgia, freaking Auburn. Any team that in the SEC that's supposed to have physical guys, he can't get halfway to the quarterback. This guy gets all his sacks against University of Texas San Antonio and freaking Southwest Missouri. He doesn't do nothing against anybody. So I don't care what Tennessee. I believe the hype. I think Nico is legit. I think he's a top 5 quarterback right now. I think
He's good. He's so good.
Legit. I think he's going to be a number 1 draft pick when he comes out of college. Brew McCoy, he's a good receiver, and they got 2 really good running backs. The thing is with Tennessee, if you can't stop those runs because they spread you out all across, you got 40 yards of receiver. If you can't stop those 4 to 5 yard runs on first and second down, you're done. But if you stop that first down run, they got to figure out something else. They tried running again on second down. They're in third and longs. They're screwed. Hupel has shown that he can't do that in big games. But Alabama, the year he beat them, we couldn't stop the run. He ran it down our throats, and then he threw it down our throats at the same time.
What do you guys think about Miami so far? I think they're the one that nobody wants to talk about. They're scared of this topic. But I got to hear it. Coach Price, what do you think about the Hurricanes?
Well, right now, it's got to be somebody in the ACC because it ain't Clemson, and we know it ain't Florida State. So the only toss-up you got is them bees with no stingers in Atlanta. If you don't have them, you got the Miami Hurricanes. So to me, the ACC is kind of like the last can of soup on the shelf. It's whatever brand it is. Because you got no front runner.
Florida State's about to start out 0-4.
But when I look at this
what is now Syracuse is undefeated. I know they're Syracuse, but they are undefeated. And what are they even ranked yet or no?
No.
They did beat a ranked Georgia Tech. So,
but when I look at this list and everything that goes on with it, I say to myself, why are we panicking so much? You know, Georgia's went into Kentucky 3 times in the last 5 years, came out with a 1-point win, a 2-point win, a 10-point win, and won a championship. So I don't look at the Kentucky game really being so much of a factor that I got to be worried. But I could sit here and tell you that if I'm looking at this list, I'm putting Georgia around 6.
Woo!
I had them 5th just because,
The
right
reason
now.
why I'm not panicking with them at 6 is because this year, brother, in the playoffs, you got 12 teams. You know what I'm saying? You got 12 teams in the playoffs. So no matter where you put the Georgia Bulldogs,
As long as they're
the
in it.
cream is going to rise to the top. Ask Macho Man. He'll tell you that.
yeah.
So
There's no reason.
concerned with what I'm seeing right now because I know what we're going to be able to do at the end of the year. I don't mind losing a ball game. I don't care if any of these teams on this list right now beat us in a ball game in the regular season because we'll be there. Because the one thing I can sit here and tell you is when Georgia loses that ball game, we'll have every turd in America with a chance to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs like we've been on top forever. What they're mad at is where we are right now. So I don't really look at Georgia having too many slip-ups whatsoever. We just got to stop starting so slow because our offense is not showing right now that if you're down 20 points, you can come get those 20 points. So
Well, that's my
we
thing,
need
too.
to quit
Like-
stopping. We need to quit starting out ball games so slow.
Coach, before I hand this thing to Craig, I gotta slow you down just a little bit. I can make an argument that y'all won't make the playoffs.
I want to hear that argument.
Ole Miss,
We'll beat them.
Tennessee, and
We'll
Bama,
beat them.
And
that's-
Texas.
and
And
Texas.
we'll beat them.
I'm just saying, Coach.
Texas
Coach,
and in Mississippi.
I'm
we'll
just,
beat 'em.
look, Coach. I'm just
We'll beat
telling
'em.
you.
Because see, this is the reason why. When it comes to Georgia right now, that Kentucky game kind of put us on like, whoa, what's really going on?
Nice
But
narrative.
we won it.
Mhm.
The game that if we lose, that we need to lose, is the Alabama game, which is why I'm glad we got them before everybody else. Because if we lose the Alabama game, that's the game that's going to piss Kirby off. So we'll be there. But that's the game that's going to piss him off. Because for one, your 2 losses in SEC competition or whatever is by who? You won how many regular season games, but your playoff games, you lost 2 of them to who?
Bama.
So who else out of that list would actually piss you off knowing that Saban is no longer there and you still lose to who, Tony?
Bama.
That's the game that'll piss Kirby off. So Texas, Ole Miss, Tennessee won't have a chance. Kick it, Craig.
God.
Hey, man, why ain't Auburn on this list?
Well,
Sorry, I had to fuck with fun there. I'm putting Texas 1 and 2 because their backup quarterback is just about as good as anybody in the damn country. Sarkisian's got that team ready to play. I know, Coach, you ain't worried about playing Texas. I'll be worried about playing Texas.
in Texas too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be funny if Quinn Ewers stays out of the game for more than a couple games. You're going to have the Heisman voters this year is going to be Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. They're both going to be on the damn ticket.
That ain't seen a defense this fast.
I don't know, man. I don't know, Coach. We'll see. That's how it goes.
It's true. It is true.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, Quinn ain't scared of nobody though, dude. Quinn Ewers will look like absolute garbage against these terrible teams, and he'll play Alabama and he won't miss a freaking throw. And I'm telling you, it's unreal. I witnessed it in person. The throws he made against Alabama last year, dude. I mean, they're NFL throws. It's unreal the stuff. And then I don't know if y'all
NFL throws in the second or the third year. I can't remember which one is it.
What you mean? Come on. Michigan this year. Michigan sucks on offense, but their defense is top tier. Dude, he made them look like clowns.
He did.
He made throws. He wasn't even set and making throws in the windows that NFL quarterbacks cannot make standing still.
I agree. He's definitely one of the best in the game. I mean, and that's the thing. This weekend, guys, we ain't even talked about none of the games. I mean, there's some teams outside of this list that I'm excited to watch. I mean, go ahead, Tony.
I want to say another thing too. You remember that quarterback I was telling y'all he was legit despite him being on South Florida? Well, guess who South Florida plays this weekend? The Miami Hurricanes.
Ooh, that's gonna be nice.
So let's see how bad that quarterback is. Just saying, because I'm telling you, he's good. He played bad against Alabama. He did, but he's legit. Like I said, he threw for 3,000 and ran for almost 900.
Hold on. So the measuring stick is not Bama. The measuring stick is Miami.
No, I'm saying we're going to find out if South Florida was actually decent or if Miami's really damn good. That's what we're going to find out.
I don't think we're going to find out much of nothing.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think Miami is pretty good.
You know what's going to happen to Miami? Listen, I'm going to get back to you, Craig. What's going to happen to Miami? Miami got a quarterback problem. Okay? What? Miami has a quarterback problem. See,
a good problem.
Okay. See the thing that y'all always, it's a mentality thing. See, Cam, he likes showboating too much. He's got a messed up. It's something in it. It's something slightly off, guys. If it was all about talent, you can rewrite the whole history of the game. If this kid does not learn how to lead and stay in the pocket, and I'm not talking about the pocket, the literal pocket, but in his mind, and learn how to motivate and lead and not try to be showboat, it's going to all come tumbling down, guys.
I think it's Miami-esque.
That's
why
he is a perfect fit.
But it is kind of, but I think I'm glad you said that, really, because they do kind of remind me of each other, but I think Cam is a little bit worse. What do you say, Craig?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's still Cam Ward. You know, we'll see. Like you said, it's coming. We'll find out soon enough. They are in the ACC, so you got to have one ACC and one Big Ten member in there at some point in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Penn State belongs there at all. I was just looking at the schedules, and I honestly think Ole Miss and Missouri have the better chance of running the table or getting to the end of the season with one loss versus all the teams listed.
Agreed.
Because they only played – Ole Miss plays Georgia at home, and Missouri plays Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and that's it.
Yep.
I mean, the rest of their competition is, I hate to say second tier, but let's just be honest. I mean, Auburn's going to be scratching to get 6 wins this year.
So you picking Ole Miss to win the SEC?
I mean, it's going to be hard for me to pick. I don't know how the Titans don't beat the shit out of each other all year. You got Georgia, Texas, and Alabama are going to be beating the snot out of each other all year.
I think Ole Miss goes 11-1 in the regular season. I agree with Craig, but I do think Missouri loses 2 games minimum.
You think so? Who's their second one? You think they're going to get snuck up on by somebody, Arkansas or something?
I don't think they go into Kyle Allen and beat Texas A&M.
Oh, A&M, yeah. I guess we'll see.
A&M's got a decent defense. I mean, Cook is good, but he has shown in clutch situations he will turn the ball over. Against LSU last year,
that's a rowdy place to play. I hadn't thought of that. A&M maybe, but
they won that game.
No, they lost to LSU.
I thought they beat LSU on a game when they
he threw 2 turnovers in the last 2 minutes. They were down 3, threw a pick 6, and then he threw another interception because he was like 130 attempts without a pick and threw back-to-back interceptions on back-to-back.
That's true. Who did they beat?
I mean, Ole Miss has got to go to LSU. Man, we talked about that, man. We're both kind of on the struggle bus right now.
LSU not going. I don't believe in nothing about my team this year.
Barry, who did Missouri beat last year on that last-second field goal? And we were live on the air.
60-something yard field goal with old big.
Yeah, that was incredible. That's what I thought it was.
That was Kentucky.
Was it Kentucky?
I'm about to look.
I think it was Kentucky. I think you're right, Coach.
See, I know it ain't now, but I thought it was LSU, and that's why I was so confused. But so I want to touch on this real quick before we go. Does anybody know the official SEC tiebreaker? We've been talking about this for 7 months.
There's a bunch of different scenarios. So that's why this is.
Let's just walk through a couple because I mean, I agree with y'all. There's going to be some teams that are 1 loss, and there might be 3. Who goes to Atlanta?
This is the one that gets me. So I don't remember the first couple, but I sent it in Snapchat one day with us, Digo, and I was like, am I reading this right? Because it gets to it's like A, B, C, D, E. When it gets to D and E, I'm like, how? So when it gets to D, because I'm thinking it could possibly happen, it's like you take their they take their SEC schedule versus common opponents, and they don't do wins and losses. Or they do wins and losses. They take the combined record of your opponents in SEC play and use that as a tiebreaker, and that pisses me off. I'm sitting there like, how does that become a tiebreaker? Because the SEC gives you your schedule. They make you play those SEC teams. So let's say Texas, for example. Texas has got a cake schedule. SEC-wise, I mean, they couldn't have got a better first-year schedule for the SEC. Like, let me read off Texas SEC games real quick. Outside of Georgia, it's pitiful. It really is. So let's go.
I thought you said the SEC was the mighty.
It is, but listen to the team, Barry. We know there's terrible teams in every conference. So here's the SEC teams that Texas plays: Mississippi State, garbage. They just got blew out by like Toledo by 30. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma is not very good. It's the Red River rivalry, so it'll probably be a decent game. They play Georgia. That's tough. They play Vanderbilt. Garbage. They play Florida. Garbage. Arkansas. Garbage. Kentucky. Garbage.
Hold on. Hey. Slow down on Kentucky.
Garbage.
They
Y'all
are
don't get to
garbage.
Y'all don't get
Yeah,
to
if Georgia
call
played them
Kentucky-
again, they beat them by 35.
Y'all don't get to call Kentucky
Yes, we
garbage
do.
none this year. And
South Carolina beat
no.
them by 30 with Robbie Ashford. at
I
quarterback.
don't care.
Robbie
I
Ashford
don't
was-
care. I
That's
watched the
great
game.
about Robbie Ashford.
I watched the game last week against who's supposed to be the number one team in the country. I'm going to Kentucky fans out there watching.
Don't make excuses, but did you count them holding calls?
They make it. Jesus
Don't make
Christ.
excuses, but did you
Stop
count
it.
them?
I
I mean,
watched
the first
Homeland
time we
team
had
country.
Vanderbilt in Vandergriff in the end zone getting pressured
No.
when we had them backed
As
up.
a
They literally
back-to-back,
hugged
as
two
a
of our
back-to-back
players and they didn't
champ,
call it.
as a back-to-back champ, you should not even utter a words about a holding call. That's beneath y'all, coach.
Barry,
Stop it.
And as a
championship teams,
Kansas City
lot of-
fan, you shouldn't say nothing about refs.
a
not
lot of
making
championship
calls.
teams have a bad game against somebody terrible. I remember a national champion in 2009 who should have lost to a terrible Tennessee team. If it wasn't for a big old fat 340-pound dude with dreads, we would have lost to Tennessee. He was terrible.
Mhm.
Y'all talking about championships, and I'm hoping Arkansas
That's
don't score
true.
70 on Auburn Saturday.
But like I said, I mean, Texas has got – so you're going to take Texas – if let's say Alabama and Texas – I'm just picking Alabama just because it's my team. Say we're both 11-1, and you get to this tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is between the records of your conference play. That's garbage because Alabama's obviously – their conference play record's going to be better than Texas because we played better SEC teams throughout the year, but – we didn't get to choose that as Texas athletic director. I didn't get to choose what SEC teams we played. Y'all gave us this schedule. Y'all gave us these bottom 6 teams in the SEC every year to play our first year.
But one thing you're leaving out.
You gave me?
That's one thing you're leaving out, though. They still reserve the right to make their own decision.
Who?
The committee. They already said that.
No,
That's still
SEC championship. No.
I'm talking about when they select the playoff teams.
Yeah, but I'm not talking. We're just talking about who goes to the SEC championship.
Oh, okay.
There's
Hey, y'all, I got to roll. I got to put a baby to bed.
All right, War Eagle.
All right,
y'all.
Greg, good to have you on here.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
See y'all in a
sir.
little bit.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm
Tony,
gonna look up the
answer the
tiebreaker
question.
rules. Here it is.
like who goes to Atlanta based on the tiebreaker and why? That's the question.
Here it is right here. Number 1, head-to-head competition along the tie team, so normal. 2.
Wait, so stop. Go through the schedule. What would the first one be?
So let's say
if-
Alabama and Texas are 11-1. If Texas beat Georgia and we lost to Georgia, Texas is in.
Okay.
Vice versa. Alabama beats Georgia, Texas loses, Alabama's in.
So what do
That's-
you think the scenarios are just on that single tiebreaker? I mean, what teams?
I think there could be 3 or 4 teams that classify for that. Because like I said, because
Mhm.
Ole Miss could beat or lose to Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia could beat or lose to Alabama. Texas could beat or lose to Georgia. I mean, that's
Texas,
3 teams right there.
Alabama, Georgia,
Alabama could lose.
Tennessee,
let's
Ole
possibly
Miss,
lose
all
to Missouri.
lose one ball game.
Or Tennessee could lose to one of them, and then one of us.
One
beat them.
game.
I think there could be 4 or 5 teams tied just on that one.
One
If
mhm.
that happens, do you think all 5 teams make the playoff?
No.
No. Because listen,
They can't.
They can't.
I
Yeah.
didn't think they could either.
Because once after that, you still go to the second part. That's why I think it's horrible to be an SEC championship game unless you're undefeated.
Mhm.
If
Right.
you are 11-1, going to the SEC championship, right? Let's say Alabama's and Georgia's playing the SEC championship. Georgia's 12-0, Alabama's 11-1. Ole Miss is 11-1, sitting on the outside. If Alabama loses that game in SEC championship, now they have 2 losses.
Mhm.
Ole Miss has to get in over Alabama if it comes down to it, because we got 2 losses.
But do you fault the team for making the title game? That's the thing.
You shouldn't.
You
but
have to
they're
make
going
that
That's why I'm
decision.
going to cut that out.
They shouldn't, but they're going to because of the way they play. That's why I think the automatic there should be no conference championship game anymore, in my opinion, because every conference is not equal. Because you get 4, or not 4. There's 6 automatic bids now, something like that.
Mhm.
There's 6 automatic bids.
4 conference
major
champions.
conferences, and then the 2 other top non-power 5.
Top non-
Group of
Powers,
5, the group of
Yeah.
5.
Group of 5,
So-
yep.
So 6 teams, every conference is not equal. You're telling me that freaking, let's say, the Big Ten, Oklahoma State, that should have lost to Arkansas, could
Mhm.
go undefeated or have one loss, gets in over a 2-loss Alabama or 2-loss Georgia, kiss my ass. No, they shouldn't. Because every conference is not equal. They need to do away with conference championships across the whole country and
Mhm.
either keep it 12 games or do it 10 games in regular season. You do 8 conference games and you have 4 games that you have to play someone from each other conference. 1 game
Yep.
from each conference. And then the best 12 total teams get in. That's the only way that it's going to be fair.
Or if you want to let
I
the
do agree.
2 cupcake teams get in, you make it to the top 10.
Because you're telling me
The top
Liberty,
top
I don't
4
care if
gets
Liberty's
by.
undefeated. They win and they're in the playoff because we want a Cinderella story that's never going to happen in football. This isn't basketball. This isn't a day where anybody can hit their 3-pointers.
I like it. I
Football,
like it. I like it.
physicality.
I like it. I
So
like
you don't think there's a possibility for Cinderellas?
Not in college
I do.
football. To win a game, yes. To win a national championship in 12-team format, no chance in hell. No
Because
chance.
they got to play 4 games to win it all.
They gotta
And
play
that's
4
why-
games like they did that
Get all
first
them
game.
teams they got to go through to get
But
to
I mean,
that.
But that's-
everybody else has got to play at least 3.
Yes, but the
Yeah.
talent, you got to think, the talent across the board on those other teams is a whole lot better, and the recovery time is quicker because of the resources and also the way their genetics are.
Okay, let me
Please tell
ask
me
this.
Toledo-
Liberty is in the bracket. Say they draw Alabama first round. They got to win Alabama.
They somehow
Okay.
beat Alabama. Now they got to play
Yeah.
Texas.
Now they got to play Texas. And then after they get through playing Texas,
They got
now
Ohio
they got to
State.
play Ohio State.
Well,
No,
realistically, who do
Do
we
with
think
Ohio
goes?
State, then they got to play whoever might have been the SEC champion for the national championship.
In my
So
opinion,
let's
there
say
will
we
be
got
4
4
teams in
SEC
the playoffs.
teams. Who are the other 8? And let's say, I guess we could say 2 of them are the non-Power 5 or whatever we want to say.
Yeah.
Who are those?
You're
Like,
gonna
that's
have a
what I-
couple teams from the Big Ten.
You're going to have Ohio
I don't think
State.
so.
You're gonna have a
You're
I
gonna
couple.
think you got
Ohio
one
State.
from the Big Ten.
I only
You're
think
gonna have
Ohio State
Oregon.
makes it.
You're going
Huh?
to have Oregon.
I only think Ohio State makes it because Michigan's already got 30-piece by out of conference team. They get 30-piece by Ohio State, they're done. They had no chance of making it. 2 losses.
Oh, Michigan, no. Michigan
Michigan's
out. Yeah.
Penn State.
Their
Yeah.
only hopes Oregon, Penn State, or USC, in my opinion.
Penn State out.
I think USC loses to Michigan this weekend. I really do.
They could. They very well could.
I think Michigan will run it down their throat the whole game and play clock.
You think it's gonna be maybe 3-4 SEC teams?
I think 100% 4 SEC teams will be in the playoff. 100%.
I agree.
I think the Big 12 will have 1 team if they're
Mhm.
undefeated, which they got to have 1 team. It's BS. You can lose 4 games and win your conference
Games
championship.
and win your conference. So, yep, there's
They'll
their
have
one.
1 team. The Big 10 will have 1 team.
Mhm.
The Big 10 will have 1 team. The Pac-12 will have 1. Not Pac-12. The Big 12 will have 1 team.
ACC.
ACC team will have 1 team unless Clemson runs the table and they beat everybody by 4.
Clemson ain't running no damn table, and I think it's gonna be 2 Big
They
Ten
could.
teams. It's
Does
gonna
Clemson play
be
Miami?
Oregon and Ohio State to be in.
I think Oregon will lose.
So who's the other ones? Who gets in?
Let's see. I don't even think Clemson plays
Miami will win the SEC.
Clemson doesn't even play Miami in the regular season, so Clemson might go 11-1. You never know.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Oh,
Look at.
come
where'd
on.
he come out of?
Let's get Dylan in on this. Ask Dylan. Let's see what he's got to say.
So Dylan, all right,
Hold on.
we're ending the show here, but we might keep it going now that you join here. But
Yeah.
you come out of the Sesame Street tree.
You
But
already know.
so
We got to go to
we're
bed.
talking about the top 12. TJ thinks there's 3 to 4 SEC teams. Who are the ones left? I mean, and we're really TJ didn't answer this question, so I'm gonna let him answer it first.
What?
But who are the 2 from non-power 5s that make the playoff? And what
don't know.
seeds are they?
Well,
Liberty?
no. It's I think it's 5 automatic. It's not 6. So it's the Power 4 winners, and then the G5 number 1 team, they get the 12th seed.
So probably Liberty or somebody.
Yeah, Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah. So what I've looked at is I've seen people break it down. The best spot to be is actually number 5,
Right.
because number 5 gets to play number 12 as a little warm-up game wax their ass, and then their next game is, I think, the winner of the Big 10 or the winner of the Big 12. Like, come on.
Bring it on.
Yep.
So like I said, it don't matter about that when it comes to the playoffs.
But I said I think one Big 12 team makes it just because they have to. I don't think multiple. One, maybe two Big 10 teams, but the Big 10 team would have to be Oregon. It's not Michigan. Michigan's done. I don't care what they do. They're not going to beat Ohio State. They're going to lose by 20 to them. And just like
I don't think they'll beat some other
two
team.
losses by 20 points get you out of the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's completely biased, which could happen. I mean, I don't know.
Well, count your teams, Tony. So you've got count your SEC teams. I want to figure the 12 out. We've yet to answer.
Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee will be in the playoff.
All right, those 4. All right, now who else?
Wait, who'd you say? Alabama, Georgia,
Alabama,
Texas,
Georgia,
Tennessee.
Texas, Tennessee.
I
Oh,
disagree.
brother, Ole Miss is in. They don't play a
Thank
soul.
you.
They don't play a soul.
I'm trying to tell you, Ole Miss. If Ole Miss,
But hey,
if Ole Miss
My
get
bad. I've
past
been high on Ole
Georgia,
Miss all year. I said Ole Miss at the
But-
beginning.
but
Ole
hey.
Miss instead of Tennessee. My fault.
that means I think 5 get in because I think Tennessee gets in. I think 5
All right, so
get
you
in.
got those
And that
5.
sounds crazy, but hell, 6 of the top 7 are SEC right now.
So you got 7 left. Who you got?
Or actually, what? 7 of the top 8.
Miami. Go ahead and throw Miami for the SEC.
Miami, yeah. Well, hey, Clemson, the ACC's trash.
That's what, they
Oh,
don't play
my
nobody
God.
else. They don't play
Thank
nobody
you.
else.
Hey,
Thank
and
you.
also, the biggest trash pile there is up there in Penn State. They don't play a soul. It wouldn't surprise me if they get 11.
That's horse shit if they do. They're terrible.
They don't play anybody.
But they beat Bowling Green in the last second.
They don't play
So,
Ohio State
I mean,
or
Big
Michigan this
Ten.
year, do they? They don't play Ohio State or Michigan this
Let me
year.
look at Penn State.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
Big
you're right.
12, sorry. Big 12.
If they don't play Ohio State or Michigan, they're in. Even though we have no faith in them.
But I mean, look at the Big 12. I mean, is it
They
just
had
Oklahoma
Michigan,
State?
but they don't have Ohio State.
Can I?
They got
end this-
USC.
can I end
Oh
this-
no.
USC,
Who they got?
Wisconsin, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah,
They don't have Michigan, but they got Ohio State.
and USC, which they will lose to.
What about the Big 12?
Oklahoma State.
That's. I mean,
Unless Utah beats them this weekend, which I don't think they do, even though Cam Rising's good. I think Utah's defense is trash this year.
I can see that, but I think that they'll end up winning it.
Like Big 12 to me, they're lucky if they get 2 in.
I
I think it's one team.
I do too.
They'll get one team in the winner. It'll probably be Oklahoma State.
That's what I think too. So
Yeah, because
four for
I
a
think
fact,
they're.
possibly 5 SEC teams in. And people are going to be crying when it's just the truth. It's better. They're the best.
They are the best.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. You
Well,
could make an
well,
argument right
talent is-
now. Missouri's better than any Big 12,
You
Big
throw
10
Ole
team
Miss
right
in
now.
the Big 12 right now. They win 66-3 every game.
Well, Ole Miss is going to win the SEC.
No, they're not.
They could. They very well
They're
could.
going to be there. I think they'll be there, but they ain't beating Texas.
All they,
I
huh?
hate this. Texas is going to win the SEC championship their first year, and Evan's never going to let me live it down.
You're right. He fucking never.
Look, this is where I stand on football and predicting who's going to finish where. Dude, we don't know who the fuck is good or who the fuck is bad.
That's
right
true.
now. We don't know anything.
Yes.
We said that last year at this time too. I mean, so
Like,
last year Bama was done to bury. Bama was 5 losses with Milroe at quarterback.
because I do think Texas is. I think
Not Saban.
I think Texas is the truth, but I also think Michigan is fucking
Buns.
yeah. Like I mean,
Look, they're exactly what their quarterback's last name is. Every time a team comes and play them, it's a big old orgy.
you're damn right.
And he's starting this week, and they're going to beat USC, so it's going to be an orgy.
well, I think the conversation's interesting, and once we get to October 12th, the biggest day in college football history, it seems like, and if anybody has scheduled a wedding in that point, it's time for the Salem witch trials again, because
Yep.
if you did that, that is an absolute sin, because that day right there, I'm taking PTO. It is going to be an unreal day, and after that, we're going to know. in my opinion, the most of the playoffs will be set that day.
What day?
October 12th. Look at the schedule for that day. It is incredible.
Let's see. I got it right here, actually.
It is bad. I mean, I don't know how there'll be enough cable providers.
You know, it makes me angry. Alabama's should beat South Carolina pretty good that day, but this is what makes me mad. I'm sick and tired of Kirby playing Tennessee after us. If we lose to him, Kirby's got the blueprint. If we beat them, Kirby's like, okay, they're not that good. So either way,
Kirby has shown the blueprint the past 3 years. Stop their run.
That's right.
You stop their run, they get long third downs, and they cannot do anything.
What I say,
he must have lost that motherfucker last week because it was 13-12.
Look. The past 3 times we've been to Lexington, we played like ass, and it was close games.
True.
Look, when you get beat up front like that, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Joe Brady in 2019 LSU. If you get waxed up front and then you get beat in time of possession by 15 minutes, you're
Dylan
lucky.
Miro, let me ask you a question, Dylan Miro. I want you to be really honest about this.
What's up? QB1 over here. What's up?
You know the schedule coming up. There's a chance that you guys can lose 3 games
and still make the playoff.
What three? Because Tony knows which one I will not allow you to throw in there with the 3.
Listen,
don't even do it. They're still Ole Miss.
I got it
Still
screenshot.
Ole Miss,
Still Ole Miss.
Tennessee, and Texas, eh?
We're at home this year against Tennessee. I would.
The Grove got me shaking. The Grove. Oh my God. Ole Miss.
Hey, Kirby scared of the Grove now.
Get out of here. Get out of here. 52-17 last year, and they were supposed to be something
How
good.
long? You ain't the least bit scared.
True, we did embarrass
Ole Miss when you only put up 13 points against Kentucky.
No.
Hey, I got it screenshotted. Dylan
We
says
put
they
up-
beat Ole Miss by 25. That's my screenshot.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, where's it?
Beat them by about 35-40 last year.
I got it
I
favored.
mean,
We beat them by 10 points and won a national championship.
That's true.
The time before that, we beat them by 2 points, and this last time we beat them by a point.
What does it say?
gonna beat them by fucking 25. That's what you
Yeah, you damn right.
Hey, I
Well,
keep that.
Hey, print that out. Put it up somewhere.
Well, I'm
It's
telling you, if
almost
y'all
like I
really
got a
want to
video
put your
somewhere
money where your
doing,
mouth
look.
is, let me know because I do have the first time bet to use the Hard Rock Cafe or Hard Rock Casino on my my new account. So
Hey, you know how I
you
do
got
it.
up to $100 to lose, and they'll reimburse you.
Well, hey, all I want is this week is to see better officiating. That's the one thing I want to see across the board.
It's been bad in high school football. It's been bad in college football. And don't get me started on the NFL because we knew they were who we thought they were. That's exactly who it was. We knew the Kansas City Chiefs would win 2 minutes in the last ball game, and they did it. I'm sick and tired of Kansas City. I'm sick and you know what? The only thing that could make Kansas City better is if it was in Kansas, and it's not.
All right, Cole, why don't you like them?
I can't stand
Because
Taylor
he-
Swift,
No.
and I can't stand.
Because
Because he's the closest thing to beating Brady. That's it.
100%. 100%.
What?
He couldn't wear Brady's jock strap, and Brady
You know why he couldn't wear
Brady
Brady's
bent
jock
him
strap? 'Cause
over
this
and
thing will be hanging out
spanked
of
him
Brady's
like a
jock strap.
Christmas puppy. I'm telling you, he bent him over and spanked him like a Christmas puppy. Not
Hey.
only in an AFC Championship game, but the Super Bowl.
Think
Tom
about
Brady-
it. Okay, so I can say the same thing about Eli Manning beat the hell out of Brady. So what?
He did. Tom Brady will tell you, without Eli Manning being on this earth, Tom Brady would be
Hey,
God.
not just Eli Manning, Nick Foles too. Nick Foles.
Don't
too.
forget about Nick Foles. So what?
All right, you take those two mortal humans out of this earth, Tom Brady is a god.
You take Kyle Shanahan out of this earth, the Falcons are Super Bowl champs.
There's a lot of things you could say about the Falcons, and none of it says Super Bowl champions.
Hey, that was
Let me just put it that way.
Shanahan saying, "I got y'all boys this far. I'm the 49ers coach next year. Kiss my ass, Matt Ryan."
Man, let me tell you, Shanahan is the biggest choke artist in the history of the NFL. It is It is absurd the games this guy loses.
Him and Pete Carroll, they take turns gagging on that thing.
Y'all
Hey,
y'all
was the-
get
no.
a narrative and y'all run with it, man. But I actually watched the Super Bowl last year, and let me tell you right now, Shanahan called a great game. The reason he lost that game is because Brock Purdy
Sucks.
wasn't man enough to throw the touchdown that was in there. You go to overtime with the Chiefs. Come on, man. Y'all gonna have to stop. Y'all gonna have to give Shanahan some problems.
As much as he has choked, if I'm starting a franchise and I'm picking a coach, he's like top 2, top 3 for sure.
Somebody on the 49ers came out and said I think it might have been Ayuk. They was talking about his car. He's like, look, I've been on the best team in the NFL for 5 straight years, and we haven't won anything. We got to do it this year.
It's hard to win, especially when it gets Mahomes.
Yeah,
That's why Tom Brady is the greatest, unequivocally the greatest of all time. It ain't even
Mahomes
close.
is going to pass him in everything, everything.
Mahomes couldn't break his fortune cookie open.
He don't even
Let me
believe
tell you right now.
He don't even believe what he's saying. I know this variant. I know this variant. They hate. First thing you ask him about Mahomes, he said, I can't stand Taylor Swift.
You remember that
that's all
time
you need to
Lance
know right there.
Armstrong rode across the Tour de France holding up these many fingers? By God, that's how many fingers Tom Brady's got Super Bowl rings on.
That's how many. If Mahomes was in the AFC least, that's probably the same thing would probably happen too.
I can't
Well,
ride a
all I can say
bicycle,
is
Barry, with 7
The
fingers
one thing
holding
you're
up.
gonna see, in the Kansas City game is
That's right.
Hey,
You're gonna
only
see
thing.
by God, you're gonna
Hey,
see
you
a zebra
know.
throw something.
No, hey, I'm gonna say this, Dolphin, and you take us out. The one thing that every Tom Brady fan is afraid of is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs winning that 3-peat. And when they do that, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. It's a wrap.
Listen,
It's
it
over.
will never be a wrap when a man has 7 Super
Yes,
Bowls.
it will. Yes, it
7
will.
Super Bowls with 2 teams, and he beat the very man you're talking about twice in playoffs. One in the
Okay,
Super
hold
Bowl.
on. One of the times, since we want to talk about the holding on the Chiefs, one of the times, the only reason he won is because that BS offsides penalty that he wasn't offsides on. They said
He was offside.
no. They said he lined up offsides. He was not offsides. Brady threw a pick. He crapped down his leg, and they threw the flag to bail him out.
And let's not.
It was off LeGarrette Blount's
Let's not
hands,
forget. And
number
let's not
one.
forget. And let's not forget. They cheat.
Oh hell!
They've been
You
cheating.
got me damn.
They cheat.
You
This-
want to talk about cheating, man?
this
You're
kid
boy
sat on here.
Travis
We
had an
sat on
Apple
here.
Watch on the
Do
field.
y'all remember? Do y'all remember the slide that we put on there for Harbaugh in Michigan? The hat with all the things. Come on, is that been
You want to talk
the
about cheating?
greatest?
That's
The
real
greatest cheaters in the NFL has been the New England Patriots, bar none. So stop
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
it. And we're gonna
Hey.
end right there.
Speaking of cheating, the Chargers will beat the Steelers this weekend.
That's gonna
Well,
be a good game. That's
I'll
gonna be a
go
good
ahead
game.
and cut it off. I'm sure there's going to be more going on backstage about this, but the Chop and Block podcast is back as ever, as you can tell. And man, I wish we could go 30 more minutes because I'm heated about this. Y'all want to go on and talk about my Patriots and talk about this phony from Kansas City. If he wins 3, guess what? He's still short. And Tom Brady had 2 dynasties in multiple years. Okay, this man won 3 or 4. He won 2 in a row. So you can say what you want to say, but Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. He sucks on TV. I'll say that he sucks. But
in Tampa until Gronk followed.
But I'll tell you right now, Tony, and I'll end this show right here because I know it's going to bull your skin. When Miami comes calling for a real quarterback, Tom Brady will answer this time. And there won't be no pandering charges. There won't be none of that. There's going to be a winning quarterback come down to Miami, Florida. And I'll tell you right now, it could be a Super Bowl. The Chop and Block podcast is out.
Yeah, we about to do it. Watch us